Hi everybody, today I'm cruising with my new Audi A2 3L with this fuel consumption. Yes, it is real because this is only a little bit downhill, but it's very close to the 0 degrees, to the flat. So you can see that fuel consumption at 60 kilometers per hour is far below 2 liters per 100 kilometers. It is because of much better drag coefficient of the A2, which is around 0.25, and still you can see that fuel consumption is far below 2 liters. It's pretty amazing because now I am not going downhill already. This is the real world consumption. And another very interesting thing is that my fuel is not diesel fuel, but the mixture of 25% of the diesel fuel with the 75% of wasted vegetable oil, perfectly filtered, which has a even lower heating coefficient.
In 800 meters, continue straight.
I'm sorry for the navigation. The specific heat of the vegetable oil is circa 10 or 15% lower than the diesel fuel. So on the diesel itself, it could be even lower fuel consumption than this. I think I will be able to get under the 2 liters per 100 kilometers on the...
In 200 meters,
sorry.
Continue straight.
I'm sorry for the navigation. Now the fuel consumption increased a little bit.
Continue straight.
Maybe because this is only a little bit uphill now. And as you can see, it's still very low fuel consumption, extremely low. I have already done some remapping of the injection. I have advanced the injection approximately around about 4 degrees of the crank angle. So maybe this is caused by this. So I recommend everybody to increase carefully the injection timing. On the diesel fuel, I recommend only maybe 1 or maximally 2 degrees of the crank angle. And according to some study which I read in some college work or bachelor's thesis, so there was a recommendation, there was a real world testing and proper measuring of the specific fuel consumption on the test bench, and on the 100% of the wasted vegetable oil, mixed rapeseed and sunflower, there was recommended to increase the injection advance exactly around 4 degrees before top dead center. So now you can see I'm going uphill must be careful now because there is some issue. Maybe somebody went out of the fuel. So I will show you that the average fuel consumption is 3.7 liters, but this fuel consumption is very affected by my short distances which I previously traveled. So now I will increase the speed at the sweet spot of the engine and the gearbox. It's proven that it is around 2000 RPMs at 90 kilometers per hour. The speedo now shows a little bit higher speed, but the real world speed by the GPS signal is exactly 90 kilometers per hour now. And when I switch the board computer on the actual fuel consumption, you can see increase, but there is this road is not perfect for eco-friendly testing or testing of the fuel economy, and seems to be pretty interesting in this car because the aerodynamics of the car is perfect, absolutely perfect. In combination with this engine, the fuel consumption can be absolutely without problem, can be lower than 3 liters per 100 kilometers. When you drive at least 20 kilometers per one trip, or outside the city or outside the heavy traffic. So the average is a little bit higher, but I'm expecting that in my target destination it will get lower at approximately 0.2 or 0.3 liters. So the exact consumption of the diesel fuel is now around 1 liter per 100 kilometers. Everything else is for free, it is wasted oil. I have driven a few thousand kilometers on this blend, and in the summer temperatures, when the temperatures at night does not drop below the 10 degrees Celsius, I have absolutely no problems with the starting engine, absolutely no problem with the smoke immediately after the start, because at the starting I advanced the fuel injection even higher, at maybe plus 7 degrees of the crank angle. So the engine performance is pretty good. I cannot recognize the difference between the regular diesel and the vegetable and this blend and this mixture. So I will now continue to developing the fuel system, or maybe the fuel itself, to be usable even in the winter. Maybe below minus 10 degrees Celsius. Until this time I used only 50 to 50% mixture in the winter, and without a long period of the pre-glow there was problems with the starting and even with the drive with the cold engine. So now I am working on the process of the making biodiesel with the low cost, or to find some way which allows me to completely eliminate the diesel fuel, because I'm not supporting the Russian or psychopath Putin's war. So I'm running only, I will run only for this fuel for next year and far behind maybe. You can now see I'm going downhill, and the aerodynamics of the car is absolutely perfect, because in Lupo there is aerodynamic drag and car does not accelerate here without gear, but Audi A2 accelerates, and I must now use the engine brake because there is some village in front of me, maybe 1 kilometer ahead. So I must decrease the speed at 60 kilometers per hour. There is a 60 kilometers per hour limit. And I must use the brake, so maybe it's time to turn on the air conditioning, because there is pretty warm evening. And now I must brake even more. And
Entering average speed check zone.
And turn on the economic regime of the air conditioning back.
Exiting average speed enforcement zone.
I'm sorry for that navigation.
In 1 kilometer, at the roundabout, take the second exit.
So you can see the average fuel consumption dropped, and I will now drive downhill even more, so I'm expecting that the 3 liters is achievable in
200 meters, at the roundabout, take the second exit.
not in 200 meters, but maybe during some 200 kilometers.
At the roundabout, take the second exit.
In the future I will maybe public how to prepare the alternative fuel for the diesel. TDI-PD engine is pretty good for this from the reason that the fuel is heated in the cylinder head before it's injected into the chamber, so the viscosity problem is solved already, but now I'm working also on the mild hybrid alternator, but it is only in the state of in my thoughts, but I have already choose the proper alternator from maybe from BMW 7 or from the Renault Scenic, or I'm sorry, Renault E-Space, which is water cooled and will be very good because when the engine load or in the function of the engine, so the reversing of the alternator, there is need to cool it because of the lower efficiency in this regime or in that regime. But it's maybe a little bit long-term goal, but my goal is to lower the fuel consumption of the 3-liter cars, both Audi A2 and the Lupo 3L, below 2 liters per 100 kilometers by using simple DIY low-cost solution. And the mild hybrid function of the alternator